push the volume up a little bit. Turn down the volume on there because it's just blaring in my ears, the music. Cool, hi, welcome back. So unfortunately, it turns out what I thought was seasonal allergies last week was actually full-blown cold, and I'm still recovering from it, so apologies if I'm coughing or sounding a bit bunged up. It's nearly done with, which is great, looking forward to that. So, where did we get to last week? We managed to create the skybox and the walls for the skybox specifically. So we are. So we've got our lovely menu and we've got our view. We can look around. Doesn't capture the mouse yet, and we can move from side to side. So I think it looks quite cool. One thing I did notice when rewatching the stream during the week was that the blocks on the walls are in the wrong orientation. So the back wall is fine. That's what it's supposed to be. But the walls at the side are like the bricks have been laid in the wrong order. So I wanted to try and fix that. And then after that, I honestly have no idea what to do for the stream this week. So I was thinking I might try and add an object. Like I quite like the idea of the first room, as it were, the one that we build out, being similar to what we had when it was back when it was a 2D game. With like a sort of cult feel, so maybe like an altar at the end, and a doorway, and then some like cultist type characters coming in. Obviously, we can't reuse the 2D assets that we made during the 2D version of the game. But I think I would like to try and keep that vibe going, and to try and recreate those in 3D. It's going to take significantly longer. But I don't think we'll get to that this week. And then another option is that we have a look at the menus as well, because the menu's been annoying me for a while. It's not a great, it's not very nice looking, I think. But for sure, the first thing we need to do is sort out this skybox. So we can see from here that the pattern, as it were, let's scroll up a bit. So the pattern for this is correct for the back wall, in that it looks like it's been stacked from the bottom and then like a layer built on top. And then for the side walls, because we have to like rotate our view, we see that this is the floor, and it looks like actually the thing's been stacked from here. I think it should be fairly straightforward, because I think we just need to look for the I didn't name them. Okay, well that's back wall. I didn't put left wall, and I've forgotten which one's which. So I do remember it was the same as the dice skin. So it's 1 and 6. I think are the ones. Yes, here we go. And I think if I just swap those, it should work. So this is square 1, which would be the one on the left. So AI is trying to help me out. It's not really picking the right thing to do. Right, so we will go into apps. Oops. There's apps, yep. And we'll source the VM here. And then run Skybox Generator. Let's see, and I think that just outputs it to the same folder. Oh no, it puts it... Oh, okay, yeah, it does both. So, okay, well that did not work. That just deleted the thing. Okay, so, right, if it wasn't that, then it's gonna be... out Y then. Let's try that. run that, see what it produces. Oh dear, that didn't work at all. So that's like created a weird mishmash. Okay, so we're gonna have to write the maths out on this. Just so I can see another that. I was hoping just to invert all the coordinates. Oh, it worked! Yes, excellent. Right. So, cool. Yeah, so we can see now that this is much closer to what we'd expect, and it almost lines the blocks up as though they were going around the corner, but it doesn't quite. But that's okay. I mean, we wouldn't. I think normally normally if you're creating a skybox like this, you'd have an artist do it. But obviously, because I'm generating it from a Python script, I think this is as good as we're going to get. And then square 6, we just need to do the same thing. So do that and flip the y. It saves us having to figure out all the maths again. Yeah. I think it was that. I'm going to rerun Skybox Generator. And it's sorted it. Excellent. So now if we go back to our thing. Oh, that looks so much better. Right. Yeah, that's... I can't believe I missed it on the stream last week, but I did. Yeah, that's okay, cool. So the walls are now properly stacked. That looks like a proper sandstone wall, or just a brick wall. So yeah. Okay, cool. Well, that was the first. That was really the only thing I was hoping to get out of today's stream. But we've only been going for like 10 minutes. I should probably do a bit more. So one thing I was thinking was trying to add like some, so rather for the ceiling, I kind of wanted it to see through to the outside world. So I think I might do, and the way that I wanted to do that was to have some bits of ceiling on the image, but then large holes that saw through to like a space style background. And again, I think we can improve all of the assets in this at some point, particularly because even though it looks quite cool, the tile effect obviously is generated as squares, and it's just stretched because we've stretched the whole box out, like the skybox that we're using for the room that we're in. Yeah, so at some point, assets will need to be updated and made a bit better. But for now, what I'm really curious about is why there's this blur effect. Oh, that must be part of the... It could be that we're just using such low, like the texture's such low quality that it's doing that. Because I don't think that blur is present. Yeah, it's a really solid line, and there's no like blur on the edge of those blocks. So it must just be an artifact of the texture renderer, of the texture extractor. Also, not a huge fan of what this door is doing over here, because it happens to end directly on a thing. So maybe we can smooth that out a bit at some point, so that they all end like this. Or maybe put a door jam, like door frame type thing in there. But yeah, I don't think that wasn't what I wanted to do. What wasn't what I wanted to do today anyway. So yes, what were we going to do? Okay, so the options were menu or adding some stuff. We could start to have a go at the roof of the skybox, I guess. Yeah. No, I think instead we'll go for the go for adding the altar at the end of the room. And we'll do that by adding another block. So yeah, what do we got? We've got. I guess another option was to add enemies. Yeah, there was also trying to recreate the fireball, because we had the fireball going when it was a 2D object. I don't have a good solution at the moment for a. I suppose we could go for a Virtua Cop style. Oh yeah, let's do that actually. Okay. So, yeah, I've got a picture in my head now. I think of. So I want to create. So I think in Virtua Cop the bullets were like. I forgot to draw freehand. I think they were like diamond type objects like this. And that's what they did. And they just flew along like this. I think that might be possible, and that way we can make it a bit more interactive as well. So that's probably a good idea, because I can't remember what order we did everything in the 2D. I think we added the room, but that was fairly straightforward, and then we created the little men running around, and it was adding the perspective part that did all of the. Took a lot of maths that just wasn't working out. So yeah, let's do that. Let's make a bullet, and the way we're going to do that is using another application that I put together. It should be linked in the notes, and it is the GLTF exporter, which is here. Yes, here we go. Cool. So yeah, the code for this is all open source. It's on Codeberg, and I think I sort of vaguely covered it when we were making the room. But essentially, what it does, let's have a look at it now. Yeah, it basically takes sets of coordinates, so the first three are the X, Y, Z, and then you want them in threes because they're going to be triangles. So you've got the X, Y, Z is the first three set of coordinates, RGB is the next set, and the last two are for texture mapping. There is actually an extended set, so because you can import other objects, so other ones that you've got, and add translations. Yeah, so here's an example using cube, and this, to give you an idea, oops, that's not that's not what I wanted to show at all. And where is it? Screenshot. There we go. Yeah, it's this one. So we've got cubes here, and they're rotated in various planes. So yeah, you can see we've got the XYZ location and then a singular rotation, but you can actually rotate in 3 planes now. So it will, yeah, you can, and that's obviously XYZ. You can also scale them using the brackets, and you can override the color to make it a singular. To like change the color of all of the polygons inside. So I think this is probably the best bet. Let's create a new thing here. That's a cube. I think that one's actually checked into the code base as well. But yeah, we'll create a new one and we'll call this firebolts. TXT. And so we want it to be, so I think from the diagram, I think we want 0, 0 to be in the middle here. Let's put origin, there. I think we want this to be like, I'm going to say 0.2 long, and then this will make 0.8 long, so that the whole thing is 1 in total. And then width-wise, I think we'll just go 0.2 width and 0.2 height as well. So yeah, so that's 0, 0, 0, and if that's 0.2, then this will be 0.1 high. So the distance from the, if we're looking at the, obviously that's going to be the point at the front, but also the origin. And this is this cross section here, like rotated, so you can see it. So this will be 0.1 high, and let's start with this point. It's going to be so it's going to be 0 on the x-plane. It's going to be 0.1 high, and in the z direction 0.1, because I think z is coming out of the screen towards you. And obviously we everything has to be triangles, so this front one will be a triangle, that will be a triangle, and then there'll be one on the far side and one on the other side, and so we're going to make like a square-based pyramid essentially. And then we'll do the same thing for the back. So really all we want, and that's going to be minus 0.2 at the front, and that will be 0.8 at the back. And other than that, I think we should be good. And we always want to go counterclockwise in the way we create our triangles, so that the faces come out towards us, so that the normals come out towards us. So for the counterclockwise, we will start with this one, and that'll be 1, that'll be 2, and that'll be 3. So let's have a go at creating that. Excuse me. So number 1 will be 0.0, and then it needs to be 0.1 high, and then minus 0.1 into the screen. I will make this yellow, and then we don't care about texture mapping because we're not doing that for this. I'm going to call that tip top because that's the top of the tip. And we want the to be minus 0.2. 0 high and 0 in. Actually, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the tip red because I think that would look quite cool. So it's like red fading to yellow. And we can obviously override the color in the shader, and we probably will be doing that at some point to make it look a bit more exciting. And then this is still up in the air, but we now want it to come out towards us, and that will be yellow still. Okay, so that's our first triangle. And we'll create tip left, let's say. So I'll just copy those in, and the first, so the tip will always be the same, but we're going to be starting from the place that we were last time. So to give you an idea, that's this point here. So what was number 3 on the first one is going to be number 1 on the second one. And we're still going to the same point, so we're doing that. And then the last one will be the same, but with minus 1, because it's now at the bottom. Tip bottom. And copy all of these. Actually, oops. If I take the top, it's just the inverse, but we have to remember to swap the these around, and then also to change the sign on the Y component. Oops. Great, and then the tip right is going to be the same thing. Oops. Same thing, but for this, so we'll swap these around. And instead we are inverting the Z. Oops. There we go. Okay, so let's have a go at compiling this. So it's in the examples folder, so run examples firebolts. Great. And now we need another program. I've written the GLTF viewer. This is actually a Tory application. This also is available. This will show our models. But we need to copy the model into the correct folder for it to pick it up. Otherwise, it's going to pick up other ones that These are other items I've created before for different things. So I'll just drag that out of the way. GLTF exporter. So and copy output firebolt GLTF. Because it also creates a GLB file as well, but we're not actually using that. Into C code VCC clone. No, not VCC clone. GLTF viewer. Oh no, I can't remember where it's. I think it's for some reason it's in the app folder. App and then source. I can't remember, source Tory assets GLTF. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So that's happened. The application is just restarting because when it's in the Tory dev mode, it restarts automatically. So that's what we're going to do there. Okay, the application's come back up. So now we can select firebolts with no texture, so it's just going to be the raw color that's on there. Oh yeah, I left a thing on the mix it rotate automatically, but we can see we've got our firebolt there. It does display the back face of each polygon, which I'm not really sure why it does that. I think that's an issue with the code itself. It's still very much a project in progress, but that's kind of done what I wanted it to do, which is awesome. So I think now we'll just make the back piece of the firebolt, and then we can start adding it into the application and let the player fire those bolts. So we will call this back top, and I might as well take this, but then our I wonder if we could do something clever here. Let's get a color picker. Kind of want a darker, not quite red. So let's find a color picker. And I kind of want like a crossover blue-yellow. And I think the blue's going to clash too much, so let's maybe go with like a dirty yellow trail. There we go, that looks good. So that will be these numbers here. Just going to make a note of those there, and then load up trusty old calculator. We need to do 163 because everything's normalized to 0 and 1. So we just divide it by 255, which is the range of spaces. Yeah, so we'll go with 0639 for the red components. Then we need 214, 214, 255, and finally 13. 0.05. Cool. Okay. So yeah. So that should give us a nice little contrast, just to make the back tip look a little bit more interesting. So we've got our start point. That then means we want to do that one, and then this is going to 0.8. So for this, I've gone with a different orientation for the triangle, just to make sure that it's still. So if we call this 0.4, the new back tip, we're going 1, 3, 4. So going on there, still keeping the anti-clockwise direction, but now the tip is the last component. So do that. Oops. And we'll call this back left. Might as well go. So the second one now becomes the first one, and we're just going in the Y direction. Back bottom. It's going to be the same as back top, but we need to invert these and change the sign on those, and then back right. It's going to be, oh no, I got rid of, God, sorry, I got such fat fingers today. There we go. Right, and then back right's going to be back left. Yeah. Change the sign on the Z direction and change the order of the items. So let's rerun that and watch the GLTF exporter viewer. Sorry, come back up again. There we go. So firebolts. Sorry. Yeah, I haven't quite mastered this yet. You can't undo a selection once you've made the selection. Okay, that looks like it's working. Yeah, there's our firebolt. So, and it doesn't offer great rotation. It was just for testing out models very quickly. That's the reason I created this. But that's done exactly what I was hoping it would do. That is a firebolt, and it sort of fades a little bit of the background. I think when we come to write the final shader for this, I'd quite like to see it kind of fading out so that it feels more like the majority of the mass in the firebolt is at the front, and then it kind of fades out, and put like a little fire effect on the shader at the back. But for now, I think this is great. We can absolutely use this, and we can just have the user be able to fire these down the corridor. So let's do exactly that. We've got our GLTF file. Output firebolt GLTF. My hope is to one day make this a web page or something, so that people could just drop these recipes in effectively, and then also to share models as well, so that they can have the models with the exact polygon lists. The reason is, the reason I'm not using Blender or anything like that is just purely because I am a terrible artist. I've never been very good. I've tried several times to learn it. I just can't get my head around it, so I prefer to write everything with code. So that's why, to be honest, that sums up this whole project, because you shouldn't really be creating games using raw GLTF, so using raw GLSL. You should be using something like Unity or Unreal. But this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing. Obviously, for your own projects, feel free to do as you wish. So where are the models? There we go, and there's our firebolt, so we can see our GLTF file is there. Excuse me. Okay, so the next thing is to allow the player to actually fire, and then I'm gonna. Why have I got? unsaved changes. Oh no, I don't. They're just a funny color for some reason. Okay. Right. So I think firebolts are probably going to be. Oh yeah, you see the firebolt is already here. So we'll call this a firebolt. Struct firebolt. No, I don't think we want a lifetime. I think we just want to make sure AI is prompting us with all sorts of weird stuff today. So implements. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, it's made some pretty good guesses there. So we will go. Yes, we need to be able to pass in a location. I don't think we need a. Yeah. Okay. I think we will make the velocity. Oh no, the velocity. No. We have to pass the velocity in because it will change depending on which way the user is facing. So yeah, we do have to pass those in. I'm just going to trust that this is. Yeah, that this is the case. That's right. I remember before when we fired a fireball, when it hit the back wall, it left a mark. So it kind of created a scorched item. I think what might be quite cool is for it to like explode into like voxel pieces as well and have those drop to the floor, like a shower of sparks type of thing. So yeah, I doubt we'll have time to do that today, but we will. We should be able to fire the firebolt, and then actually that sets us up for the next one as well, that we can add those those effects later on. Okay, so let's add the module in firebolts. Oops. Pub mod, thanks. Oops. There we go. Okay, it doesn't know location 3D. It's in utils. There it goes. And it doesn't know what GL is. I think it's. Okay, nice. Yeah. Okay, so these are just warnings telling us that hasn't been used by anything, which is fine. That is to be expected. And it's not the player. Oh, that probably shouldn't be there. So, oops. I think it is the player's responsibility to deliver the fireball. Firebolt, sorry. Okay, well, it's given us some interesting code here. Let's have a look and see what it's given us. Okay, the speed is 0.01, which feels very slow. Okay, yeah, so it's firing from our location. Yeah, that might be okay for now, but we'll see. And then the velocity, 0.01 feels very slow. Wait, what? So it's the velocity is our location times the look rotation times the speed. I don't know. Oh no, actually, I guess that does make sense. Yeah, that probably is the velocity. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm not entirely convinced this is gonna work as is, but it's always fun. Yes, location probably does not offer clone. This location, a location 3D, yes it is, okay. Just make sure that we can clone and copy those. And make sure that this is happy, yes it is. Great. So now from our game, I think was which handled the canvas. Yes. Yep. There we go. And we have on, mouse down. Great. And that's what we want to handle. So we have the mouse down event. We actually don't really care where the mouse. I'm going to leave these in just so that they're here in case we do need them, but we don't really care, and we can see the old code that we commented out that we're creating a new fireball, but we need to create a new firebolt this time. So firebolt equals cast firebolt. There we go. That should be. And now we need. I'm gonna leave that there just for reference for now. That we had a vector of firebolts, and now it will complain. Yeah, let's import that. Can I fix it? You happy now? Yep. And firebolts needs to be an empty vector. And we'll do self.firebolts.push. Great. Okay. Then in the, did we create a game update? We did. Excellent. Guess we'll just put it at the end of everything. Update. And we'll render the skybox first. For firebolts render. Okay, where does it want us to clone? Because we're using the is that really the only place we're using the no, I know why. Because the render shouldn't be, it should be taking a reference to it, not yes, we'll do that. This is also going to need a model. We need to give it a name string. We'll just call it firebolt. Sorry. For now. Two strings. Cast the strut to a string. And I think actually the skybox is going to be the best place to come. We'll just copy these. GLTF that now needs to be firebolts. And what shaders do we have available? We only have the two. Okay, so I'm going to, again, cheat a little bit. I know I said I was going to write everything on the stream, but that has obviously been a bit of a lie. And we'll just need to find the GLTF viewer code again. I'll do a quick talk through of the shader as I import it. That's the exporter. Great, there we go. Okay, so we'll copy the node texture into here. Oh, this needs to be mutable as well so that we can actually update it. And then we want no texture and no texture. Okay, so the no texture, the vertex, there's a lot of stuff in here. Most of it, it's just figuring out where on the screen it's supposed to be, so it's applying the rotation. It's not, it needs a lot of cleaning up before. It was mostly from where I was learning how to do stuff. And in here, again, a lot of broken references, or not broken references, but references to textures that won't actually ever be filled, and things like normals and stuff. But for now, it just returns the original color of the item, which, as you'll remember, was the color that we've set, and it does the blending for us. So even though the tip is red and the base is yellow, it will create the fade for us, which is a nice feature. So we'll add that in there. We're almost ready. Yeah, probably will use the get location at some point. Then we want takes 3 arguments, expected, F64, found location 3D, Y, what's that expecting? Oh, the time and the cam, oh yeah. Okay, that's why, yeah. The location we should update in here, self model set position, yeah, there we go. This needs the time. Actually, I don't think, I can't remember if we're passing the time through yet. We definitely need to pass the camera. That. Excuse me. Okay, that's correct. It doesn't recognize camera. It doesn't know where the camera is. I can't remember exactly, so I'm just going to steal the import from here. Oh, we're not putting camera in there. Here's the one from model then. Okay, that doesn't help us. This model is in the model. Okay, so use crates. Oops. Model. There we go. Now that's what it's doing. Right. Of course, needs to be a reference. And it needs to be mutable. Okay, this might work. Okay, except we're getting compile errors. Although, are we still getting compile errors? Where are these happening? Yes. The time, oops, we can just pass 0.0 for now, and we also want to include the camera. Oh, we have the U time. Okay, so actually, we'll pass that because we're passing through things. So, right, and this needs to be, it's a mute. Yeah, because we're calling the mutable reference of self, this needs to be mutable. So. Okay, well, we got something. I fully suspect this is going to. Oh, it's crashed. Great. Okay, well, whatever happened there, that did not like that. Okay, what have we got here? Option unwrap on none. Yeah, that is trying to render something that is never set up because we didn't call the setup code. I can't remember where we did it for the skybox, so let's have a look at the skybox. That needs to go in the updates. Was there a guard? Yes, there we go. Okay, so we also need to add the guard in here. So we only render if it is actually ready to render. Still getting a, oh yeah, okay, it doesn't like, because we're not passing width and heights. Skybox, is that because, yep, we have to pass those things. I'm just going to copy these from here into here. Okay, that's all good. But then the game file is going to complain because when So where are we calling Skybox update? Ah, is the Skybox update being called? Look, self Skybox updates. What's happening there? Okay, so okay, we're calling game update, right? Okay. So definitely need to pass the GL context and pass those things as well. That means that here we can just pass these as width and height. Does that let us compile? It does not. Because I've got a mutable borrow to figure out. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it doesn't like us passing those. And we do have a reference to self, so let's get rid of those. Yeah, okay. That should be okay. Still getting an error. Okay, the mutable borrow occurs here. But it's already a reference, so why are we... Cannot borrow self as mutable. Ah, okay. Right, because this is not immutable. No, it is. Oh. Well, the simple thing is going to be to just do the updates outside of this function. It's not really the right way of doing it. Can't figure out why it's not working. No, because we need to have the delta, and that's calculated. Okay, this is... Yeah, I think we're going to put that there and get rid of all of this guff in the update, and that way the update is just an update. Game. Takes 3 arguments before. Yes, it doesn't need the delta. Great. Do need to still call game updates. Probably want to update after everything else has been updated, and then at the end we'll do for okay. So yeah, so what we've done there is because the setup is a one-time thing, or should be, we'll just put that in its own thing, and it can take the GL context and do what it wants. But then the update itself is independent of that, which is probably the right way of doing it. Okay, so do we still have... Oh, it's still getting a compile error. Why? Cannot borrow self as mutable because it's already borrowed as immutable. But where? Okay, I guess that means we have to go before. Yeah, it's this reference. It's grabbing the reference to the thing that's causing the issue. I don't fully understand that, but there we go. Anyway. Okay, well, it doesn't crash this time, so that's great. Okay, but we're going to have to put some debug in to figure out... Oh, okay, we've got lots of WebGL warnings. Error 04F syntax error. Okay, well, one of our... Yeah, there it is. Oh, something happened. It's going. It's just going in the wrong direction. Yeah, I did suspect that was going to happen. Because it just seemed to pick a... I'm just going to change the Z's basically, and we'll see what goes on there. No, that didn't really help. Okay, I don't. The more at the floor you're looking, the longer they last. And they're also obviously facing in the wrong direction. So. What we will do is do model set rotation. Oh, really? They need to be pointing in the direction that we are. So, for now, I'm going to do set rotation. The X is fine. The Y needs to be rotated 32. Consts pi 2.0 0.0. Okay, I'll just check back in on here. Oh, so close. I think it's facing the wrong direction because I can see. Yeah, it's turned the wrong direction. Firebolt, close that. Stick a minus on there. Should do it. And yeah, when I was looking down. What? I still don't know why it's going in those directions, but that is now facing in the right direction. You can kind of vaguely see as it pings up. It's just going in a random direction. Okay, yeah. Well, let's get the direction sorted because that's going to get really annoying. But it is. I think it's now vaguely facing in the right direction, although obviously not obeying which way the player is looking. So the velocity is going to be, so the location is that. Oh, what are we doing? Let's see. Right, I think I need to draw this out. Get rid of the old drawing. So okay, so we have our player. We're just going to go from the. For now, we'll just fire down the hallway, but with the start X. So you've got the X coordinate here for the starts, for the location, which is all good. So the location Y will just make 0. So Y will always be 0, and Z's needs to be whatever the player. Yeah, so X and Z are where the player are. Y is always going to be 0 because I think the camera is at 0, so we're just at. yeah, we're just like in the middle of the room basically. And then the velocity is going to be, for now, let's just do it in the Z direction. So we'll just do, actually, I'm going to keep this just in case, because I want to understand what it thought it was doing. 0.0, but I'll have a look at that somewhere else at a different time. Then this just wants to be speed, and that's 0.0. And oh, for heaven's sake, keep clicking on the wrong thing. Yeah, I think we're pretty soon going to have to get hold of the add cargo, add the Tory application, because it's really annoying getting to the edge, clicking, ending up in a different application. Okay, well that's heading in the wrong direction, and I do know why. It's because it needs to be minus speed, because a negative Z is... Oh, in fact, that's just heading upwards. What am I talking about? It needs to be 0.0. That needs to be minus speed. There we go. And then in the firebolt updates, I need to make sure that is adding again. Still going in the wrong direction, or it's going very fast. But yeah, I think it's just going very fast. So let's let's make it go very, very slow. Okay, well, the good news is making it go very, very slow has shown us one problem, which is that it is heading towards us. Okay, but that's correct. It's now going very slow. But we can see that shading that I was talking about, the green shading with the red thing. So which looks quite cool. We can also spawn multiple of them, which look a little bit like the Matrix. So yeah, that's okay. That's kind of cool, right? That's working. Now let's do the speed again, and we also need to remember to delete them, otherwise they'll just stay in the world forever. Okay, still quite slow. I thought they were on 0.01 before when they were going. Okay, well, they're nice. Okay, yes, we have a firing solution, where it just goes in the same plane. Oop. Okay. Okay, nice. So now we need to despawn when they hit the back wall. So that's probably a good idea. And that's where why I left the get location function in there, because actually, do we want to? I think the firebolts want to delete themselves, really. They want to own their own models, and the reason they want to do that is because if we want to have them explode when they hit the back wall, then yeah. So then, how do they? So they'll need to know the bounds. But no, I don't think they should. Sorry, I'm just thinking about how best to do this. Basically they need to explode whenever they hit something, Now we can set the ultimate bounds, but which should probably be a good failsafe, just to make sure they don't keep going off into the infinite void. But they also need to hit other players, so there's going to need to be a time when we reconcile all of that. So really we want to have a destroy method here, and we're also going to want an enum for fireball state. There we go. Look at that! It's predicted what I was going to put. So the state's going to be fireball state, state flying. Great. And then the destroy is going to be that's going to be expiring, exploding. Sorry. Yeah, so we only move when we're doing that, otherwise we are going to okay, you know what, I think I've got a plan now. So we'll call this cooldown F64, and we'll create consts, fireball explodes for, make that 1500. Before expiring, yes, there we go. Yeah, so 1.5 seconds essentially. Why does it? Oh, yeah, it doesn't like doing comparisons on. Oh, I just had that self.state. I really need that. No, we really don't need that. Stop trying to add it. Oh, okay, no, we do need that. Sorry, I see what it did now. It added it's because it's a return. As in it's returning the value inside the if clause into the state. Yeah, okay, that does make sense. Right, and the state actually, it's is expired. Yeah, there we go. So we'll keep the state private still, and then inside the game, excuse me, after everything, then we'll do this cleanup. So firebolt.retain. There we go. Nope. Yeah. It's expired. Cool. Okay, so what we're doing is just calling the retain function on the thing. As long as it's not expired, then it will retain it within the bounds. I can't remember where the player starts. Where do they start? They start at 0, 1, -9. Okay, grab my little board to write this down. If I can find my board. Yes, I have it. Excellent. Right. Oops. Okay, so I have my board now. I just need to find the pen for it. Of course, I dropped. This is excellent planning on my part. And of course, I cannot find the pen, so that's going to put a bit of dampener on this. Might have to go for pen and paper. Okay, pen and paper it is. Okay. Yeah. So the player is at. Sorry, this is just so that I can map the coordinates in my head. So player is at 0, 1, -9. That means the room is 20 long. So yeah. So I think we want to. I think if the z coordinate is greater than 9. Self.location.z is greater than 9. Self-destroy. Okay, yeah. Normally this destruction would be done outside. This is just an absolute maximum bounds for debugging. But we should see it get to the end of the room, stop 1.5 seconds, and then disappear. Okay, well it does part of that. Okay, I'm going to make this now 0, so it stops in the middle of the room, just so it's a bit closer. There we go. Okay, so it does stop. But they never go. So, in fact, actually, I'm going to even go for -2. It's just so they're a bit closer, so I can kind of keep an eye on them. But it's a bit easier to see them. Let's go -4. Just want them to get a bit of movement in, but not too much. Okay, -4. Yeah, -4 is good. Okay, so now we're going to track what's going on. Yes. Okay, this is yeah. This needs to be so only when they're flying can they be destroyed. So what was happening there was they were calling destroy on every thing because even the next time the loop came around, so it's constantly setting it back to exploding and never to expired. So we were never getting inside this loop, but this should work now. Stop 1.5 seconds. Disappear. Great. Okay, so those objects are now spawning. Beautiful. Right, so we'll set this back to 9 again, so it should make it all the way down to the end of the room. Obviously, eventually, when we come to creating the explosion part, we'll create some coloured blocks and have them randomly fall to the ground, essentially. So we'll just check that this goes all the way to the end of the room, which it does. Actually, I think this can be 10 because I think we made the room 20 long. So actually, that's still stopping short. Yeah, that looks good to me. I can still, because you can still see it. So that's great. Okay, well that's a great start. Now let's get the. Really, we just need some coloured blocks. I'm trying to think of the quickest way of doing that. It's whether it's just to get a block and apply a sort of random color from a list to it. The problem is then we have to add more models on as well, which is, guess it's okay. So yeah, we'll call this shards. Oops, not shards. And this is going to be a vec of models. Yeah, for explosion shards. Well, we'll figure it out. Then. Yeah, I guess this works. Really, we want a random shard.set scale. I'm gonna use a box for now. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the GLTF exporter again to get some cubes, and we're going to override the color. So we want create a new folder in here, call it firebolt shards. Shard 1 XT. We first want to get cube in here so that we can copy it. Just going to copy the example from here. Yeah, change the color of the imported object. Let's use that. And yeah, that's a pure red. Gonna have to go to. Actually, I suppose this. Yeah, let's do shard 2. Make this one pure yellow. Shard 3. We're going to have to go back to our color picker again. It's not what I wanted. Color picker. Just pulling on this. There. Yep, that'll do. I'm going to also use Python because I think that's going to be easier. Let's be a list. Yeah, for C in cols, print C over 255. Lovely. We're in 3, right? Awesome. Come here. Samples. Firebolt shards. Shard 1, txt. The output to shard 1, shard 1. Yeah, that should do it. Okay. Shard 2. Let's change that. Oh, this is just copying it into the GLTF viewer. I realised this is. Didn't need to do all that after all. Oh well. Still have the models there. Okay, and shard 3. So then the outputs should be here. They are. And I'll just copy these into the GLTF. This isn't a very efficient way of doing it because we're just pulling 3 identical cubes where only the color is different. But this will, I think, be the quickest way on stream to do this. We can look at tidying this up at a later date when we start adding more complex shaders and things. So, right. Now we need to do random numbers. I can never remember how to do random numbers in this, so I'm going to quickly check in on a different project. This one. So we've used. Yes, here we go. Okay. So oh no, we can't do that with. Ha, damn. Okay, because include string fires before, we can't actually do that. So I am going to just do. Will that let me? Yeah, that should evaluate. Okay. Yeah, no, okay, it won't because it has to be a string literal. Okay. All right. Abandoning the loop and just gonna do each one by hand. So, is it called shard 1 or shard underscore 1? It's just shard 1. That's interesting. Why can't it find it? Oh no, it can't find it. Okay. Shard 1. Just gonna give it a name. Don't need a format for that. Needs to be to string. Now I can just copy this several times. This is very inefficient. We'll think of a nicer way to do this later. Shard 3. I think it's going to get it wrong. Shard 5, I'm going to do that one again. Okay, so we've got 2 1s, 2 2s, and 1 3. And then shards, there we go, great. Cool, so that will call the setup on those. If we are exploding, only if we're exploding do we want to update the shards. So we want for shards in self.shards. Okay, spinning, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got like a spinning thing going on there. That could be interesting. Like spinning over time. And then the pause equals shards. No. Position. And then we're going to set the position to be pause dot pause dot 1, pause dot 2. But we want to we got a delta in here? We do. Yeah, that should do it. So it should fall, and then oh, okay. There's no interesting. Never added a get position to the model. So model does have position, but it is available. So just call. Apparently there's named fields on there. And then when we are destroyed, at this point we need to set the, so the position, but now we need a random number generator, so I'm going to have to go and look that up again. So this is great having to random number generator. And we just, for now, I'm just going to hang on. Yeah, because we're using WASM, we can't use the regular one. I don't think it compiles. But get random. No, we want the WebSys one. I think WebSys Rust. I'm just browsing the documentation essentially. Just going through here to have a look. That's no wrong search. There we go. That's the one. Maybe it's not WebSys. No, it's. Oh, is it JSys? Oh, I've got myself all confused now. You know what? I'm gonna rather than just googling documentation on stream, I'm gonna hard code each of the positions. So for shard and shards, it's x equals minus 0.2. It's mutable. Location x plus x and x plus equals minus 1. Yeah, okay, so they'll all spread out, and then we'll do the same thing with the y. Equals 0.2 and plus y, and y minus equals 0.1. Yeah, there we go. Okay, that should do that. And finally, we need to do the render if model is ready to render. So we want if self.state, state is flying, exploding, and doing this. Okay, it guessed it, so that looks good. So not that. Okay, I think those are falling way too much. So yeah, they're falling way too fast. So it's minus delta. Oops, 0.001. And I'm also going to set this back to -4 so that it explodes nearer where we are, just so we can see. Okay, well it's doing something, certainly. Why? Why are they jiggling around like that? It's very odd. Just gonna put this in here to see what's going on. Like that. Get the console. I'm just worried it's. Ooh. Oh man. Okay. Right, fireball hits me. Okay, yes, it's not resetting. It's so odd. Because it's kind of vaguely right, but. It's going to be this rotation, I'm sure of it. It's. Yeah, there we go. It was the random rotation code that happened. Okay, well that's that looks all right. I mean, it looks terrible, but for a start, the boxes are too big. That's definitely want to make those smaller. And there needs to be some randomness to them, so that they're kind of randomly thrown up in the air, and they need to fall more like gravity is. Why? Okay, so I made one of them too small. And the others I left to be too big. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think that's quite cool. Probably a good place to leave it. My throat's getting pretty bad now. So, yeah, that's what we've done this week. This week we've added the bullets back in, so you can fire down the corridor, and it sort of produces these shards of exploding firebolt that we will next week try to add some randomness in so that they randomly shoot off into different directions. But yeah, thanks for joining. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I will pick them up at a later date, because the video is going up. Should go up straight away. They do some processing on it. I don't really understand, but that's yeah, takes a little while. Should be there soon. I'll update the code, push it to the code base, and we can you should be able to access it through GitHub when that happens. Great. Well, thanks for joining, and hopefully see you next week. Have a good weekend.